everyone, I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. COVID-19 has wreaked havoc on Los Angeles businesses. Throughout this crisis, the balancing act of public safety and the economic need to keep businesses open has been a tricky one. Scores of shops have opened and closed their doors more than once. The LA Zoo experienced a false start like that until spikes in the coronavirus closed their doors. Well, the doors are open once again, and with cases on the decline and a new timed entry procedure in place, the LA Zoo is hopeful that this time their doors will stay open.
Today is really cool because we are welcoming visitors back to the zoo.
Our favorite part of the zoo is seeing the flamingos.
The flamingos.
Mommy likes elephants.
Mommy likes elephants? Yeah.
What do you like?
Zebras.
Zebras.
Giraffe and zebras.
So we hope that our guests will feel safe coming back to the zoo. And in order to help everybody feel safe, we have instituted several measures. We have timed entrances, so you have to get your ticket online for a specific time to come in, so not everybody comes at once. We are at a limited capacity, so people have a lot of room to spread out and socially distance. Masks are required for all guests 2 and over, and it is absolutely required for all staff, so everybody will be masked up. And we have our great custodial staff and groundskeepers wiping down everything on a very frequent basis, all our high-touch surfaces.
This is one of the public areas that we actually feel safe in.
Y pues sí, la verdad sí me siento seguro porque todos estamos manteniendo la distancia y cada vez que los acercamos a otros familiares, ellos son conscientes y se hacen para lado para los otros poder ver los animales también.
You might notice the Stay a Zebra Apart sign that reminds guests how far apart to stay. So we really have thought all this out and gone to great lengths to make sure that everybody feels safe and wants to come out to our beautiful zoo.
Oh, well, we decided to visit the zoo. Actually, I'm using the last part of my baby bonding leave, so I thought this would be a fun thing to do as a family.
They have a lot of precautions in place here. It's a huge facility, so it's easy to socially distance here.
So happy to be at the zoo.
All sorts of information, both about normal zoo things and about the COVID situation on our website. You can go to lazoo.org/reopening.
Preparing your income tax return is never fun, let's face it. But this year, filing has never been more important. State and federal governments are issuing new earned income tax credits in light of the pandemic. And the only way to make sure you get your fair share is if you file. Need help? Well, if you are a mid to low income resident, the folks at Free Tax Prep LA have put together a drive-through just for you. Take a look.
Today we're kicking off the 5th year of Free Tax Prep LA. It is a free income tax preparation program encouraging families to file their taxes for free, claim the earned income tax credit. Free Tax Prep LA helps taxpayers that make less than $57,000 and have a simple tax need.
Me va a beneficiar porque en primera son gratis, no tengo que pagar, y la segunda es el reembolso que me va a llegar, y la tercera porque es una ayuda en español.
For 2021, taxpayers can expect a lot of new benefits. For example, when you file your return, you can claim the recovery rebate if you weren't able to claim your stimulus during the last year. And additionally, through the state of California, the California EITC has now been expanded to undocumented taxpayers. This means if you file a tax return with an I-10 or you have a mixed status family, this will be the first year that you can claim the California Earned Income Tax Credit, which is up to $3,000.
La gente no tiene que tener miedo para hacer los taxes, porque con el IRS es muy confiable que no van a compartir esa información a otros departamentos federales. Es muy importante establecerse aquí en los Estados Unidos, reportar los ingresos. Es primer cosa que van a pedir inmigración si tal vez un día van a cambiar su situación.
Individuals looking to get help with their tax return need to visit freetaxprepla.com
for a list of all of our locations throughout LA County.
The national rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines have been anything but smooth. But here on the local scene, folks are getting things done. The mobile clinic for St. John's Well Child and Family Center, together with help from Labor Community Services of LA, recently brought the vaccine to the Westlake neighborhood.
It's very important to get this if we want to get back to a regular normal life.
What's the alternative to not taking it? That's the whole thing, as far as my, rationale is, because if I caught COVID with all my pre-existing conditions, I'm a goner, I would think. That's why I jumped at the opportunity to do this.
I had no side effects at all, none. And it gave me a sense of relief.
I think it's a great thing. I think it's great what the community's doing. We need to get the vaccines out so we can get back to being open again.
What's important is that this is all in the community, not far away where it becomes so difficult for our community to get access. So not only do we want the vaccinations, we want easy access.
And for them to bring it to the hood like this is really, really important, because disproportionately we're being affected the most by this.
It's a great example and a great model that we should duplicate throughout LA County and the state.
Estaba ansioso de agarrar la vacuna, he salido a trabajar, salgo, he estado cuarentena 2 veces, 2 ocasiones he tenido gente positiva cerca de mí, entonces me he tenido que hacer cuarentena, claro, me siento más protegido y eso es.
Esta es la primera vez que lo vamos a testear y ojalá estamos esperando más de 400 personas hoy que ya se registraron. En como 2 días se registraron los 400. Este día vamos a poder ayudar a 400 personas.
Crenshaw YMCA has been supporting its surrounding community with grab-and-go groceries since the beginning of the pandemic. Now, with schools still closed, that same neighborhood looks to the Y to help families find a safe place and the essential resources for kids to keep on learning.
Crenshaw YMCA has launched its Learning Hub, which is part of the Feed LA partnership with the City of Los Angeles, as well as a partnership that we have with Salesforce. So what we're doing is we're providing several different educational services to our community, which includes kids having the ability to come here to actually acquire homework assistance, a quiet place to study. They can take their classes here all day long.
Y la iniciativa es para poder dar a los niños un centro para que puedan venir pues si necesitan ayuda con su tarea y también con el Wi-Fi o si no otros apoyos.
The great setup that they have, feel confident that your child is safe. You can leave, leave them for the day. Knowing that they're going to be safe learning.
Entonces, cuando este programa salió, me dio la oportunidad de que volver a empezar a ir a la rutina de antes.
Todos los requisitos que tenemos para que puedan venir a tomar ventaja de este programa es nomás una verificación de ingresos y también que sean residentes de la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
Councilmember Curran Price is leading by example in District 9. You see, in communities where the population is predominantly black and brown, there is reluctance to get vaccinated for COVID-19. So Councilmember Price dropped by the Channel 35 studios and brought 2 representatives from 2 clinics active in distributing the vaccine. They came by to get the record straight. Take a look.
What was happening in South Los Angeles when the virus was first realized and started to be attended to?
We certainly were hit hard by this virus. It has been devastating to communities like the one I represent in South Los Angeles. Over the past year or so, we've had over 60,000 infections, for example, and almost 700 deaths. And that has negatively impacted the community. We have a history of healthcare disparities in our community. And so we've been working hard to assure our neighbors that the vaccine is safe.
As soon as Pfizer and Moderna achieved Food and Drug Administration Advisory Panel approval and the emergency use authorization, we knew we needed to get this life-saving essential medicine, this COVID-19 vaccine, to South LA because that's where the rates were.
I'm a little over 65, so I qualified for the vaccine. And I'm telling people that it is safe, it's easy, a little soreness, but I'm surviving. And that's the key, we gotta survive.
A poll came out this morning. 1 in 6 Americans are incredibly resistant,
Yep.
no matter where they live or who they are. What happens if we do not all participate?
That's why it's significant for those who are getting the first shot. They get a card, they know they're going to be able to come back and get that second shot at the same location. So it's not, we're not leaving it at the guesswork or I wonder. But you're right, we want to have as many people get the vaccine as possible. And it's education, it's information, it's encouraging programs like this to get the word out to folks how important it is and how accessible these resources will be in their neighborhoods.
What are some of the myths that need to be dispelled?
That COVID is being injected into your body, that is not happening. In a very basic explanation, mRNA is just a photocopy of what's going on, and we're injecting it so our body recognizes the virus and starts building antibodies against it.
We are pleased to partner with our healthcare partners at Kedron and also St. John in making sure that our residents have access to the best healthcare possible. And so we just got to get the word out and encourage people to understand the importance of getting vaccinated.
The City of Los Angeles Emergency Management Department has received a sizable donation of masks from PPE distributor AIM Brands LLC. The City of LA notes the first donation distribution will be aiding passengers who utilize the LA Department of Transportation's transit system. C19 Coalition, a national unified leadership response to the urgent shortages of PPE, are largely responsible for connecting AIM Brands with the City Emergency Management Department.
Although the vaccine is here, the challenges of distribution and getting it into the arms of people will mean that we will have to continue to socially distance and wear masks for a while longer. So these donated masks will come in very handy in keeping everyone safe on our buses.
LA Police Chief Michael Moore and others unveil another new facet to the department's renewed focus on public safety. The LAPD Alternative Dispatch Program involves sending out civilian personnel to mental health calls that are nonviolent and other calls that do not involve any type of criminal activity. The program also provides a means for residents to submit online reports of fender benders where there is no personal injury. The program is expected to help streamline city services and offset shortfalls in LAPD's budget and manpower. Cal Recycle, the statewide agency charged with resource recycling and environmental stewardship, has awarded a grant to the Los Angeles Department of Sanitation and Environment. This grant, totaling nearly $500,000, will be designated to improve the livability and quality of life throughout the city of Los Angeles. These improvements will focus on illegal dumping removal. The grant will also aid LA Sand with decreasing the community blight and increasing public awareness. North Hollywood High School won the virtual Los Angeles Department of Water and Power 29th Annual Science Bowl Regional Competition. Each year, the LADWP Science Bowl chooses a different theme that highlights an important science, technological innovation, or individual. The theme for 2021 was Saluting Medical Professionals, Scientists, and Essential Workers Combating COVID-19. North Hollywood High School was also awarded the first place Melinda Rowe Memorial Trophy. The annual Science Bowl affirms LADWP's commitment to LA City's youth and the educational community.
Councilwoman Nithya Raman has enlisted the volunteer workforce that helped her get into office to continue community outreach in District 4. And because there are so many underutilized city resources, she's on a mission to make residents aware of the numerous constituent services available.
Improving the process of providing services for residents has really been our main focus to what we really want to deliver, which is impeccable city services. There's always going to be some constituencies who are far more knowledgeable and who are able to take the time and the energy to really make demands on their city government. But we know that there's so many who are rarely in touch with the city, but it's not because they don't have real and pressing needs. And so to address this head on, to address this issue really head on, I think we decided that we wanted to use the incredible volunteer base that had stepped up during the campaign and who stepped up because they were interested in making the city a better place, to utilize them to expand our capacity to do that proactive outreach. And I think our office can do a really good job of acting as a bridge to city resources, to state resources, to county resources, to federal resources. We've had over 1,000 people sign up, which is, I mean, it's mind-blowing. And it's 1,000 people who all want to make their city better. We're starting by calling constituents who are 65 and over. This initial stage is focused on making sure that people have the tools to get vaccinated. You know, where to go, how to get it, if people are having trouble accessing it because of mobility issues, that we're connecting them to pilots that the fire department is doing that's actually bringing vaccinations to the home. You know, those kinds of connections can't happen unless we reach out and make sure that people know what they're entitled to. We've also compiled a lot of COVID-specific resources in a bunch of different categories that aren't necessarily health related, but address issues that are product of the pandemic, whether it be rent relief, whether it be small business support, food banks. Our callers are going to be connecting people to that information when they call out. I do want more people to know that the city becomes better when you call on us for help, because the city is organized right now to respond to the needs of people who are calling in. And so the more of you that call in, the better we can do at serving you. And the more that we do that, I think the more that we can build the city that we really deserve here in Los Angeles.
Are you one of those people who likes to build stuff? Are you into community building, literally? Well, before you lay any bricks, you need to make sure your plans mesh with the needs of the community. Enter the Department of City Planning. They are making it easier than ever to build with confidence and compliance.
The Los Angeles Department of City Planning's main functions include current and long-range planning to ensure that future development is aligned with the needs and goals of the city's general plan. The department is responsible for preparing and maintaining the city's general plan, which is a policy document that offers guidance on land use. The general plan is implemented through zoning regulations called the zoning code. Zoning is an important tool to create well-planned communities and to regulate the size and scale of development projects. The online application system portal was created in 2018 to allow applicants to file city planning applications online. When the pandemic started in March of 2020, City Planning went into overdrive to develop 14 additional online applications in order to keep our virtual doors open to the public. So OAS is also aiding in the economic recovery of the city, including small businesses and homeowners that have been hit the hardest. Requesting permit clearances for any project, big or small, located in redevelopment and overlay areas through the OAS system has never been easier. City Planning saw these application types as an easy and effective way to help local businesses during the pandemic. We plan on expanding these services in the months ahead to offer more planning services, including administrative clearances for accessory dwelling units. The best way to get information about the OAS system is by visiting the City Planning website at planning.lacity.org.
Councilmember John Lee has been leading the charge in finding small business loans for shopkeepers of District 12 from the very beginning of the pandemic. And while the small biz loans already had a unique repayment policy, one business is paying their loan back in the form of hot meals to hospital workers.
What we have today is another example of a program that we had in CD12 called the CD12 Business Relief Fund. No interest loan for small businesses ranging anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. We partnered with a restaurant in our district who applied for this loan, a restaurant that is a landmark in Council District 12, Los Toros Restaurant. And instead of having them repay this loan, the way they're going to pay it back is by giving back to the community.
Councilmember John Lee has generously helped coordinate a meal donation for our ICU and emergency room staff. The emotional toll on top of the physical of caring for truly the sickest of the sick patients truly is draining physically and emotionally.
It's taxing, mentally and physically. Working with patients who are sick, working in fear of actually bringing this disease home to your own families. But we power through it, work as a team, and with the support of our community and our elected officials, we're able to get through it.
Vamos a decir agradecidos del trabajo que hacen aquí en el hospital y queremos mostrar esa gratitud por traerles de comer.
Siempre mantenernos seguros. Seguimos luchando contra la pandemia, manteniendo nuestras máscaras, manteniendo la distancia. Juntos podemos lograr por fin ver la pandemia terminar.
Any level of support just helps reinforce the strength that it does that is needed to continue on.
In the past year, with the general election and the summer of protests, it seems like America is divided more than ever. Simple human interaction has become strained for lots of communities in Los Angeles. So Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez and Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas have put their support behind Kerman Maddox, the creator of a powerful new campaign that encourages us all to just say hello.
What led me to start this movement was right after the murder of George Floyd in 2020. I noticed there was a lot of division in the nation, and that included California and, frankly, Southern California. And I noticed as I went through my daily activities, I was purposely saying hello to people, waving to people, acknowledging people, and I was purposely doing it to people who didn't look like me because I felt the tension here in Southern California. And what struck me as odd is the number of people who did not respond to my nods, my waves, or me just saying hello. They looked the other way, they'd ignored me, and I just thought that was really odd. So the whole concept was to just come up with a slogan that says, just say hello to people who don't look like you. Just say hello to people who are different from you, with the point of building a human connection.
At a time when everyone is going through so much struggle, we forget that a very simple gesture of saying hello can help immediately change that level of engagement with people.
This is an effort for Los Angeles to acknowledge its own diversity and at once to appreciate the commonality that makes us a city with tremendous assets.
We have USC and UCLA, crosstown rivals who don't agree on much, but they agree and support the Just Say Hello campaign. We got Amazon as a corporate partner that helped us raise money. We have Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, USC, UCLA, Scans Construction Company, and things are just building. This is just the beginning. Common decency is a good thing. When you see people of color and people who don't look like you, say hello. Acknowledge that they exist. They're human beings as well. So fundamentally, what we're trying to do with this campaign is get the word out, motivate people, and get people to acknowledge each other and just say hello.
Many people know that there are zoning rules for where folks live and businesses can operate. And another unfortunate truth is that not all neighborhoods are created equal. In our featured story this week, we meet another member of the city planning team, FAISAL ROBLE, the racial equity officer of LA City Planning, zoomed by to talk about the history of zoning inequity based on racial bias and how Los Angeles was in the forefront of addressing the problem.
As the Chief Equity Officer for the City of Los Angeles, the largest department in the country, it is a very challenging assignment given the history of zoning in the United States. Los Angeles has played a significant role in pioneering the drafting and adapting zoning in the 1920s. That's exactly the same time blacks were leaving the South, moving to the North for industrial jobs. And what had happened is that the zoning that was practiced at the time did not really anticipate nor work it or give blacks and people of color the amenities that they wanted in their neighborhoods. As a result of zoning, after a few years of looking backward, we have Los Angeles City as one of the first cities in the nation to have adapted zoning, have resulted in neighborhoods that are unequal. Some neighborhoods are well planned, others have not been, and that is the challenge. At the wake of the murder of George Floyd in May 2020, Mayor Garcetti was one of the first elected officials in the country to react to that incident and right away issued Executive Directive number 27, which ordered all departments to come up with an action plan to address racial justice and equity in the city. We recognized that for many, many years, the neighborhood is occupied by blacks and people of color did not have enough access to groceries that dispense. They did not have enough medical facilities in their neighborhoods. So all the shortages, if you will, have finally contributed to the issues that we have seen with COVID-19 and attacking people of color in a very disproportionate number. So I think planning will have its work cut out, but it would require also the collaboration of many key departments in the city.
It's a 5-museum collaboration to showcase the work of a famed Dutch artist. Rembrandt in Southern California is the virtual gallery featuring 15 paintings by the celebrated artist. This collaborative exhibition offers a unique guide to exploring his significant works and provides information, suggested connections, and points of comparison between each of them. In addition, the virtual exhibit provides insight into the rich holdings of etchings and drawings on paper by the master in museums throughout the region. Be sure to check out Rembrandt in Southern California. Visit RembrandtInSoCal.org. The LA Public Library invites you to delve into the diverse personal histories of 12 Angelenos of color. Hear their oral histories in the LAPL series Shades of LA, a search for visual ethnic history. You can listen or read in their own words what it was like to be a minority in the early 20th century and hear their reflection on how things have changed from the perspective of an African American, Mexican American, Samoan American, and several others. Many of the testimonials are accompanied by personal photos that are also part of this unique 6-year project involving thousands of family photographs throughout Los Angeles. You won't want to miss Shades of LA, a search for visual ethnic history. You can check the collection out free of charge. Just visit tessa.lapl.org and select Photo Collection. The LA Public Library Online is proud to bring you Photography Basics with Katie. Participating teens don't need a fancy camera to capture beautiful images. Learn the basic compositional tools and techniques to take great photos with any camera. This online workshop is open to teens 12 to 19. Don't miss Photography Basics with Katie, Thursday, March 4th, beginning at 4 p.m. To take part, please email teens@lapl.org from your school email address at least 1 hour in advance of the program to request the program link. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
That's it for this edition. I am Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.